Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Bebop here. Today's video is going to be about what is the best class starting off in the game. I've had a few people stop by the stream the last couple of days asking what's the best class starting off. I'm a new player. I don't know what weapons to use. To me, you should use the spear and the bow for ranking up. The spear has been the best game ever since New World came out, or has been the best weapon ever since New World came out. And the bow is the best weapon for movement starting out. Now let's get into the skill tree here when you're ranking up the spear. What makes the spear the best weapon in the game is the fact that you can empower yourself greatly. You can also rend the enemy, which will help reduce their armor. Basically, you're going to do more damage to them. And it's going to help weaken the enemy, means they're going to do less damage to you. You also got a couple different CC abilities here that you can use to go ahead and knock down and stagger the enemies to get them off of you if you need to buy time to take a potion or kind of get away for a second. It's just an insanely good weapon. High damage, high debuffs, and just overall the best weapon in my opinion. Now, how would you want to do the skill tree? Well, I'm glad you asked. You always want to start off with the skewer, okay? Now, this skewer is going to rush forward to your target, dealing 125% weapon damage, applying a bleed. So bleed deals 20% weapon damage every 1 second for 10 seconds. So you're already going to stack a bleed, a dot, a damage over time on them, which is the bleed. That deals 20% weapon damage for 1 second every 10 seconds. So already you're winning there. Skewer deals 20% increased base damage to targets that have full health. So right when you start off, boom, you hit the target. You're already doing 20% increased base damage for that initial hit to targets with full health. Gain in power if the skewer critically hits, increasing damage by 20% for 10 seconds. So you're going to get 20% in power for 10 seconds. If you get a critical, it is huge. That is a big damage buff for a long time. 10 seconds is a long time in a fight. Then you want to go perforate. Execute 3 quick piercing strikes that deal 80% weapon damage and inflict the target with 5% rend for 10 seconds. Now it's a max 3 stacks, but as you go down here to this dot, it will increase each hit 10%. So you will stack the enemy with 30% if you hit all 3 strikes of rend. Okay, now that's going to make you do more damage to them. When you have weaken here, you're going to also do 10% max 3 stacks, so 30% weakening to the enemy. So already you're making yourself do more damage to them by rending them, and then they're going to do less damage to you because you're weakening them. Okay, so you're going to want to select these. Then you want to come over here, select Deadly Reach. Critically chance increased by 10% when attacking targets that are at least 3 meters away. When you're ranking up, you're going to be attacking a lot of targets from the front, so you want that skewer to have a better critical chance. So 3 meters away is great. Here we are with the sweep is what you want to go next, just like this. Sweep the legs, dealing 45% weapon damage, causing a knockdown. Then you follow up with a stab down, but you also have grit with the attack, which means you cannot be interrupted. Grit is basically you cannot be staggered or, you know, anything like it. You could be damaged, but you can't be staggered while doing an ability. After you do the sweep, you follow up with a heavy stab that deals 150% weapon damage. Now this will give you 25% increased base damage against knockdown targets. That is insanely good with the sweep. The stab down here is a heavy ability. So right here, successful heavy attacks reduce all spear cooldowns by 15%, max 1 reduction per attack. So that's going to help you get your cooldowns. Now what dots would you want to select next? Well, I would say start off up here. All spear ability cooldowns are reduced by 10% on the second hit of a light attack chain. So every time you do 2 stabs, that finishes the light attack chain for the spear. You'll get your 10% cooldown. Now, I would want you to select this. First successful hit with an ability within 2 seconds after dodging, reduce all spear cooldowns by 20%. What you can do with this is you can, skewer, you can dodge and perforate, and then you can dodge and sweep, okay? Now, in game, of course, you wouldn't want to do that because you're wasting DPS time, but while you're ranking up by yourself solo, that's really good to have your cooldowns go right back to where you can then do that same pattern again. Okay, after that, I would want you to select this. Critical chance increase 15% when attacking a bleeding target, because you will be bleeding them with the skewer, so extra critical chance. And then right here, critical hits extend the duration of your spear debuffs by 20%. And then you want to go right side ultimate, deal 10% increased base damage for each debuff on your target, max 30%. And then you can kind of choose what you want to do here. What I would say that you should probably do here at this point, you're probably more used to the game because you got all these unlocks. In game, a lot of the spearmen are going to have a 4th ability selected, and yes, you can only choose 3, but you'll switch out the sweep for cyclone at different times. You might come across a clothing perk that has leeching cyclone, so you might think, you know, you want to run a cyclone, and it's also a fun ability. It does a real wide area of damage, and you might want that over the sweep. If you're not having much success with sweeping and hitting the enemy on the follow-up, then you might just like cyclone better, period. So, but you would also get used to switching. Okay, now if you don't want to do that, you can just go and select whatever perks you deem better to do so with. Deal 15% increased base damage to targets below 30% health, and you can choose a stamina regen one. Stamina regen rate 30% for 3 seconds after critical hit, or you can come up here, light attack, that 5% increased critical chance, but that's up to you how you do it. I usually have my spear tree like this, and then every now and then I'll switch depending on what I'm doing with those two abilities. All right, the bow will be your debuff and your haste weapon. Okay, you're going to start off with the rain of arrows. Shoot a barrage of arrows that covers 4-meter radius, deals 150% weapon damage. This ability cannot headshot. The ability supports smart cast. And then what you want to do is come down here. Rain of arrows causes a bleed that deals 9% weapon damage per second for 12 seconds. That already, you're adding another bleed to the group for 12 seconds, which is crazy. Long time. Then you want to come right here. After dodging with full stamina, gain 7% haste for 2 seconds. That is after full stamina. The haste will increase your movement speed. And then this dot right here. Gain 7% haste for 5 seconds when you swap to your bow. Now the cooldown is 10 seconds on that. Now right there, basically, when I go from holding my spear, and you'll see down here at the buff bar, when I switch to my bow, I got that haste. Now, if I dodge, I get the other haste. So then I'll have double haste. And that will help you move around a lot faster when you're in towns. Or if you need to get away from an enemy real quick, you just switch to that, dodge immediately. I have double haste, and I can really get boost, scoot, and boogie in. All right. That's what you want to use the bow for starting off. And then once you rank it up, then you can go with a poison shot, something like that. Poison shot is going to do a lot of nature damage. It's going to do 20% nature damage per second for 7 seconds. And then poison shot now does 24% nature damage per second for 7 seconds with that dot underneath. What's good about these, if I'm coming up on a target, let's say this fence post is a target, and I'm hitting and fighting this guy, but I see over there that this other, you know, person ranking up is killing another target, I can easily just get extra weapon bonus points by hitting them real quick with that AoE, and then going right back to the spear and finishing off my target. I'll get credit for both enemies. Okay, or you can easily just do a poison shot. You can have that enemy coming to you as you finish up this enemy, and then you're ready to fight that enemy, so you don't have to run all the way over there. So that is what you can use the bow for. And then also switch and dodge movement speed. Now when you're running across a road like this, you will naturally get the haste increase as long as you're on the road path. Okay, so if you dodge here, you will actually be moving slower than if you just kept running. And once you go off road, that will go away. Once you go back on road, you get the 10% haste. I believe it still is. I would just finish off the bow skill tree like this. I want to get this left side ultimate the most. Gain in power and deal 15% more damage for 5 seconds after dodging. So I'm going to try to find all the stuff that will help unlock this. You got to fill up these nodules here to get all the way to the top to go ahead and unlock that. This one's going to extend the debuff durations 20% longer. Deal 10% more base damage to foes that are suffering from a debuff. You can do this. Direct hits on targets more powerful. Now deal 100% weapon damage. A foe below 50% health reduces all spirit ability cooldowns, and then boom. Then you want to come over here. You want to select these 2 dots. And then you want to go right here, increase critical chance of bow shots. Deal 15% more base damage to any foe as long as you not damage them in the last 10 seconds. So when you start off your shot, boom, there you go. And then you can pick whatever dot you might deem. If you want to add rend to the enemy, you can flick the rend up here. Deals more damage once you get a headshot, and you can just go like that. All right, now I came to Brightwood so I can show you on these mobs right here just how the spear and bow can work for you. But before we get into that, I'm going to get into the clothing. Okay, if you look over here, I'm in light equip load. Now you can go to medium and you can go to heavy. Once you cross this 13-pound threshold, you would go into medium, and once you cross 23, you go into heavy. Now, if you look right up here, base damage plus 15% while you're in light. Outgoing healing, if you're a healer, which you should always be in light if you're a healer, will be 30% bonus. Your dodge roll is quick, and your stamina costs 50 for 0.85 seconds after taking a melee hit. Dodge distance is reduced by 20% and you cannot run. PvP, crit damage taken negative 15% in a light equip load. And then you can read the medium and heavy. What I want to show you is when you are ranking up, the easiest way to find clothing that's going to fit at this weight load at the very tippy top right before you crush over to medium is if you have a light headpiece, light gloves, light legs, and light feet. And then you go medium chest. That's the easiest way for me to explain how to stay in a light equip load and be at the very top with the most protection. If I was to take off the medium chest piece and let's say put on a light chest piece, I am still in light, but you see I drop now below the 13 pound mark, pretty substantial. Okay, so my protections down here, the physical and elemental, they go down. Now, if I put that medium chest piece back on, we're at 499 protection physical and 475 elemental. So you have more protection because you're at that higher equip load. But we are not crossing over to medium. If you're DPS, you want to stay in light. Now, if you're ranking up, you can go medium to learn the game and so forth. You can go heavy if you want to, you know, but I would say stay medium or light as you're ranking up. Just fill out the game at those. And then later on, if you want to become a tank, you can go heavy. Now, another way to stay in light that you will learn later on, because you will get an artifact called Toon Leather Pants at the end of the quest line in Savage Divide, is this way. Now I have a light equip load headpiece, a light chest piece, medium gloves, and medium pants. Now the Toon Leather Pants are a medium pants artifact that is extremely good, gives you plus 11 attributes to all attributes. So a lot of people run that once they get done with the main story questing through New World. And then you can rock medium gloves, or you can go medium feet, or even a medium head. Now, the easiest way for me to explain this is just always go medium pants with the Toon Leather Pants, and then you would go medium gloves. Okay, and you can just keep that throughout all your different sets if you're going to remain DPS, and that way it's just easier to piece set by set if you have to ever change sets, let's say in a dungeon run or a hive or whatnot. If you want to do the medium feet instead of the medium hands, by all means go ahead. Same thing with the headpiece, but this is how I do it with the Toon Leather Pants: medium hands, medium legs, light everything else. And we are under that 13 pound mark. So we're still in light and getting our best protection that we can possibly get with this setup. All right, let's see how this will work here going up against this enemy. We get hit with a poison shot, rain of arrows. There's 2 dots added right there. Skewer, 2 attacks with light attack chain, and then perforate. And you can see above the weakening and the rend symbol. And we will CC with the sweep, and we get back to 2 hits with the light attack chain. Get ready for a hit, and then there we go. Simple as that. Now these guys will explode, so be very careful. If you see 2 mobs like this, one thing good about a bow is I can easily shoot right there. I can bring these mobs to me. If I would have went forward, they all would have aggroed right there to me. I can easily back up because I have the extra haste with the dodge with the bow. I'm going to skewer, and that gives bleed on both of them. I will perforate, and you can see the rend above and the weakening. And then I will CC, which will buy me some time to kind of get my thoughts together. Dodge roll, do an ability, and CC again. If I need to back up real quick, I can easily do it with the bow and finish off. So that's what's good about this class, is that you can actually bring enemies to you with the bow. Let's say if I want to charge in there, but I don't know if enemies are around, I can easily hit this guy real quick with the heavy. Hit him with the rain of arrows. I actually missed with the rain of arrows, but hit him with the poison shot. Skewer, rend and weaken. I can CC him. Knowing he's going to blow up probably right now, I'm going to back up. And there you go. And you can keep that consistent throughout the time of your playing. Now I see these 2 guys right here. I'm going to easily dodge, get my empowerment. I'm going to hit him with the rain of arrows. They already got some dots on them. Skewer, I got a critical, so I have my empowerment. A dodge roll, sweep. Get ready for them to attack. I'm just going to block, no big deal. A dodge roll ability. And then I will CC them again. So anytime you dodge roll, then do an ability, it will help aid in your cooldown. Just be mindful that you're only going to have 2 dodges unless you have Hardy on your ring. Hardy is going to give you 10% more extra stamina, and that is an absolute mainstay for a ring. Okay, Hardy. Remember that perk. Gives you 10% extra stamina, so in a light equip load, you can actually dodge 3 times instead of just 2. If you dodge twice, you will stam yourself, and that is the yellow bar goes great right here. So if you find a ring with Hardy at a low level, I would say keep it. It's more important than probably any other perk for a ring while you're ranking up. There we go. Skewer, perforate, sweep to CC. He's going to blow up. I just back up, let him do his thing. No big deal. So that's what I love about the bow spear combo is that you can reach out. Let's say this guy's going to go ahead and kill that guy. If I would have hit him really quick with the bow, I could have easily got weapon XP points. Okay. I want to pull these guys to me. Notice I didn't pull that other one. I want to skewer, perforate. I will dodge roll, then sweep, CC them. If I need to back up or whatnot, I can. Don't forget, if you switch to a bow, you have haste, so you can run around quicker. If you dodge, you will get your other haste, so you can still run around quick. You can shoot that right there on the ground. They will take their nature damage. Rain of arrows for another bleed dot. You can skewer, perforate, and then sweep for CC. So that's the spear and bow basically in a nutshell. I don't want the video to go too long, so I just kind of wanted to show you what that's like. Hopefully you enjoy New World. If you appreciate content like this, let me know. Feel free to hit that like button, and I will have some other videos. If you want me to make a video on your certain loadout, feel free to ask me and I will do so. All right, well, thanks for watching. Y'all have a good day and enjoy your time on Eternal. Later.